Welcome to another tech video. Today we're going to be having a look at a multi-tool that we purchased. So we've had a requirement to do a little bit of grinding and cutting, and I was looking at initially getting a Dremel, but the price of the Dremel with all the attachments worked out about £170. So I thought I'd have a hunt around on Amazon, and this is what I found. So this is what we found. I can't even say this. Distianert is the manufacturer or the brand. We've got a nice, good, strong plastic box that it comes in, and on the front here we've got these two little locks. So let's go ahead and have a look. So inside we've got our user manual. It's not particularly clear of how to connect up the bits and pieces, but I'm sure we can work it out. The speed of the drill is 10,000 to 32,000 RPM, and it's good for milling, grinding, cutting, drilling, carving, engraving, and polishing. So there we go. Also, we've got a flexible adapter, so you can use this. You can put this, hang this on a stand, and then you can use this for finer engraving work and things like that. So it is just like a Dremel basically, but yeah, very, very clever. For 32 quid, you can't really go wrong. So here's the unit itself. So on the side we've got variable speed from off all the way through to 10. That's the speed of it. We've got a standard on off switch here, and then we've got our UK power cable, and then in the box we've got a little pot of sanding discs, loads of those, which is good, which suggests that you go through a lot of them. And then in this pot here we've got some stronger sanding discs. These are more like grinding discs. Got a whole pot of them, which is good. And then in the adapters box we've got all sorts of stuff, from a little wire brush, polishing brush, through to round circular sanding collars, which sit on top of the attachments here. Got various different sizes of attachments. We've got grinding wheels, we've got polishing pads, and then we've got a whole load of more grinding wheels here, and we've got some fine tooth cutting wheels in there as well. So you get a whole load of attachments and useful little tools. Okay, so that's that bit. So our use case is we're going to be using the grinder, and obviously what you don't want to do is get covered in sparks. So the first thing that we've worked out how to do is to put this sort of little guard on top of this device, and to do that you unscrew this collar here, which comes off. This one then is a sort of push clip sprung fit on there, so you've got to push it down until it starts to turn. There we go. Or just, that's it, just till the first one goes on, and then it will turn and it will lock into place, and then you can, this shield rotates depending on where you're going to be using it. So to get the attachments in, what we do is you've got a little button here that you press, which locks the wheel, and then inside our attachments box we have this little spanner and little plate on the bottom that you can use to do your bits and pieces up. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take one of these grinding discs, and we're going to take the adapter or the shaft that we need, which is this one here. Comes with a little screw and two little sort of clothy type of washers. We want to take one of the washers off, and then that just pops through the hole there. Put the washer on the other side of that, and then that screws into the attachment. Like that, holds the wheel, and then you can use the end of this to do this up. It's not particularly great, so we're just going to use a small flathead screwdriver just to make sure that is nice and tight, like that. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to loosen this collar. Pop the drive in there like that, and then you want to press and hold this down, and then screw that up until it's tight, and then use the little spanner while you're pressing and holding the button down, because that locks it, and you want to pop that in there just to tighten that up. There we go. That is all now in there nice and tight. I'm just going to double check to make sure that this is on properly. Okay, that's nice and tight. Right. Now we've got that in there, let's just switch it on. Okay, so and there you have it. So looking at the drill itself, under here you've got the heat fan, so that there's a little fan that rotates around which blows the air through here and ejects it out through here, so that will keep the motor fairly cool. Not sure what these are. I'm not going to, don't really want to take, okay, let's have a look. Okay, so this here, I should turn it off really. So these are, in here are some spare bushes for the motor. So you've got one on each side, you've got a little spring in there, and that cap goes on the top, and then that can screw in like that. I presume when the motor stops, because the bushes are worn out. Actually, in here you get two new collar brushes and two new springs, so that's nice to have in there, which means that, you know, it's got some spares capability, which is good. That's it. So what are we going to be using this for? So as I mentioned, we're going to be using this for actually we've got a graphics card that we're going to attack with it. So this graphics card that we did on a previous video, which was our eBay bargain £72 desktop PC. So we're going to cut this off so it fits in the case. Now, we had quite a few comments on this, on why we're going to do this, when you can just take the assembly apart and take this whole base bracket off. But in actual fact, if you look down here, you can see that there's actually some thermal pads that sit on top of the memory VRM, or the memory chips, that will dissipate heat into the backplate. So we didn't want to take that off to leave this exposed without any additional cooling. So we are just going to literally cut it off here and get that into the build. So, but we're not going to be doing that today. The purpose of this video is just to show you this super little tool that, you know, why spend £170 when you can just spend a lot less on Amazon. So what do we really think about it? It's okay. You know, it's not a Dremel. However, all of the Dremel type of attachments should fit quite happily into the end of that. So if you want to you know, have a slightly cheaper multi-tool drill or multi-tool motor or handheld device, then definitely go for that, and then just do a bit of research and find yourself some decent attachments. I think the attachments probably let it down a little bit, but on the whole, you know, for 30 odd quid as opposed to 170, you can't really go wrong. Yeah, so we'll leave a link to the device itself in the description down below. If you found that video useful, give us a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, give us a thumbs down. No one sees those, but if you want to leave one, by all means do. And if you've got any comments, just leave them down below. Otherwise, just want to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.